Oh, all right. What's up, Lindsay, Christine? As promised, I wanted to give you just a quick high-level overview. I know, Christine, you've seen the product a few times. Lindsay, um, first time seeing kind of what we do. And this is intentionally going to be short. It's really just to give you a flyover. Would love to speak again and go a little deeper. But I always like to consume this stuff on my own before I talk to people. So hopefully this is helpful. So first, I just kind of want to talk about our process, and Christine, this has evolved a little bit. So we have found that often what most people need first is a deep dive in pricing strategy, and so I do want to highlight our consulting motion, and so we've got this whole thing. Why can't I find this? Called Atlas Discover, and basically we come in and I think it was even you, Lindsay, that mentioned that you've been through a couple Simon Kutchers or a Profit Well. We're effectively doing the same play. We're just using AI to make it a lot cheaper. So we have some models, and really there's three key data sources. It's going to be your billing history. So I'm not sure what you guys are using, like a ChargeBee, or maybe you're on QuickBooks or Stripe. It's going to be your CRM data. So to get your dimensional data as well as your segmentation data, and then product telemetry. So if maybe you're dog fooding your own product, or maybe you're using a Pindo or something like that. But effectively, we bring that in, and then we do have the option to look at voice. So if you're using like a Gong or a Phantom or something to record, we can do some price analysis there. If you've got MPS, we can add that as a data source. Effectively, we bring all this data in. The output is something like this. So we've got effectively a correlation between how your product is being used and actually your billing history, and we'll drive what we call AI insights. It's really more machine learning insights, but we can start to get into propensity to expand, propensity to churn, et cetera, in our recommendations area. And for a lot of people, this is a great place to start. I think ripping out actually your billing infrastructure does require some engineering resources, although it's very light. But it sometimes can be a bigger lift. Now, I think one of the things you said, Lindsay, was really interesting about the opportunity to use price as a differentiator. And so I do want to bring you into actually core Atlas billing. So imagine we run a cycle with you, we do some consulting, and we arrive at potentially a new way to model. Potentially, maybe it's just your upmarket business for your larger customers. Well, now we need the technology to support that. And so what we've built is billing infrastructure that connects to your payment gateway. So whether you're using Stripe or QuickBooks or NetSuite, we're collecting events about what your users are doing, and we're turning those events into invoices, and then sending those invoices out to your payment gateway for collections. And I just modeled out a few examples here based off of your pricing page. So I'm in the plans area. I've got a pro, startup, and enterprise plan. And example, if I click into my startup plan, you can see that I've got a base startup fee of $50. You're paying that monthly. I've also added that AI assist. I'm giving that away as part of just access to the base plan. But with any of these entitlements, as we call them, you can opt to charge for them. So, maybe down the road you have more of an a la carte model where people can be on the starter plan but still opt in to have SSO, for instance. And you want to actually bill them for that. So I could come in and say, yeah, we're going to give this particular customer access to single sign-on, but we're going to charge them an extra $100 a month for that particular entitlement, and they get the AI assist. But what I think is really cool, based off of what I learned about what you guys potentially could do, and I think, Lindsay, what you referenced, you might be doing manually for these larger customers, is actually billing your monthly active users, or it could be your MTUs, right, monthly tracked users, um, on a monthly arrears cadence. So the way that we would do this is not dissimilar to probably the way you guys collect events or Pendo collects events. Is we do have an API endpoint to allow you to send us events, And so we can receive, well, we'll stay on that plan. We can actually receive events. Those events have anything that tells us that we're tracking a user for this customer. So we need, event name, a customer ID, idempotency key. It's relatively straightforward. But then we can actually turn those events into invoices. So I have a monthly active user billable metric here. If I go look at this, I'm basically saying every month, I want you to add up the total number of users that are active based off of this eventing that you're set up. If we wanted to change that to tracked, we could. And then we have agreed upon a basically price card that says for the first 1,000 people tracked, we're going to charge 25 cents, 20 cents, and 15 cents for 3,000 and above. And you can have your minimums and maximums and do all sorts of stuff that you need to do there. But this would be the idea of actually charging for specific usage in an arrears manner. So what this would look like at the end of the month, if I go over to invoices, let's go find one that's like paid here. Um, all right. So at the end of the months, we've got this dynamic systems here. If we click on them, they are on the pro plan, and they've got this paid invoice from last month, and I can go look and actually see that we charged them, $150 for apparently the Salesforce integration for the service period of that month. And then we also have several billable metrics based off their use. Now, this is demo data, so you'll have to be creative here. But imagine this could be just your monthly tracked users. This could be something like number of NPS surveys or any other billable metric that is a better alignment to value for your customers. And I think Mike challenged you guys to think radically different. And I do think there is opportunity to win deals because you're pricing more to value, and that could be being creative with different billable metrics based off of your customers' usage patterns. I think this kind of one size fits all billing is tough in what you guys are building based off of the variety of use cases. And then ultimately, we're going to keep track of this. We're running all the math and the cron jobs, and then this is getting, ultimately rolled up based off the billing period and your terms, and sent out to your payment gateway for issuance and collection. So hopefully that's helpful. Just to recap, Atlas Discover. We have gotten pretty good at this, but the idea is come in, spend some time with your team, soak up a bunch of data. The playback would be this ongoing revenue insights dashboard that's going to be spitting out recommendations over time as we learn more about your users and their behaviors and migrations between plans and of course churn and upsell and all those important numbers. But if there's a recommendation that then you need to act on, you may need additional billing infrastructure, and that's where Atlas Billing comes in and kind of the mechanics of getting this all done. I think the final thing I'll say is I do know that change is hard. I mean, we've all been in SaaS a long time. Like, if we're going to do a pricing change, it's not just the technology, it's the sales enablement, it's the marketing collateral, it could be the CPQ system. So we have run a few beta cycles with customers on the change management portion as well. And I just think with you guys, PE-backed company, they're likely looking for, an end-to-end solution versus like, hey, we just do this one thing, but still you guys are responsible for all this enablement and all this other stuff. We can carry that load as well. So I'm sure Mike will send a follow-up as well, but I wanted to get this out because I said I would. So hopefully this is helpful. Let me know if there's questions, and we'll schedule something to chat soon. Cheers.